Hello, this is Alan Wheeler on my channel where I talk about spirituality and or the tarot. And today I'm doing an unboxing of the Millennium Thoth Tarot. And this is produced by Lo Scarabeo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. You can see the flags of the different countries or languages that are represented by the deck on the bottom, and I still have it in the shrink wrap here ready to go. But let's compare before I go further and compare the size to the original large Thoth Tarot, and it looks a little smaller and thicker, so I assume that's because of the guidebook inside, but we'll see here in a minute. Now also, I can tell just by looking at the cards pictured on the box here that the approach is a little different. So here's the High Priestess from the original Thoth Tarot. You can see this version is much more fleshed out, more concrete in a way, more realistic, and maybe the computer-generated images help there. But these were originally done with what's known as projective synthetic geometry. So they're very abstract in their approach. There's also, you can see, a lot more symbolism crammed into these cards. And some of those seem to be lost in the more realistic portrayal. What came to my mind is it's almost as if the original cards are from the perspective of the top of the Kabbalistic tree of life on which this deck is based. Up there above the abyss, where things are spiritual and still in that airy, mental almost state. And then these cards are more from the perspective of down near the bottom of that tree of life, where things are more manifest, more earthy and fleshed out. And I think we'll see that's pretty consistent throughout. Again, here's the star pictured here, and here's the original star. So again, you have that, a lot of symbolism crammed in, all the sacred geometry, and the figures are both holding the cups here, pouring in a similar fashion, but you just see that more spiritualistic, abstract approach versus the more fleshed out, earthy approach here. And so the figures seem to be more realistic flesh tones in this deck, and here they're colored according to the Golden Dawn correspondences. So if you like diversity in your figures, in the original deck they're all colors of the rainbow according to the Golden Dawn system. So we'll see how that works out as we open the Millennium Thoth Tarot. It has the author's name here on the box, artwork by Renata. It's blocked here. I read it earlier, but let me remove this so I can read the name. 78 cards with book. Looks like the name is Lechner, Renata Lechner, I believe. And here the plastic comes off. So this is a really nice box. And yes, the book inside is thick. It has that picture of the star card again. And it's 128 pages in those several languages, I think, that we saw depicted by the flags. So let's see if I can just show you. So about this much, about 38 pages, it looks like, are in one language, in English here at the front. And it gives a elemental alignment spread, which should be helpful. A few pages on using the cards, and then the descriptions there. So a nice booklet. And inside the box, we have the deck itself. So again, shrink wrap coming off here. Okay, a little advertising card, the front. The title card, it appears, and then we're off and running with the cards. The titles are at the bottom of the major arcana here. I'm just going to, and they're also on the minors. You can see the titles are written there, and there's no borders otherwise, so that's nice. These cards are a little bit stuck together here. The cardstock's a little thin. Fine for the way I work with the cards. And so let's look through a few of these. I won't do an entire flip through, but I do want to compare a few of the cards at least. I'm trying to unstick these a little bit here. Okay. Yeah, these will take a little bit of breaking in for me. So here's the Fool. And I see quite a bit of the symbolism is included there, and the figure is much more fleshed out than the original. Here's the Magician. Let's just pause here. Some of the differences are pretty dramatic. So again, he looks like he just came out of a beach movie or something, as opposed to the original, all those Golden Dawn colors and that synthetic projective geometry there. But a lot of similarities. The shape of the symbol for Mercury is much more pronounced for me in this card. Those items in a circle. I think you get a little bit of the effect here. And I'm feeling like it will help me in my understanding of the Thoth. I'll probably return to the original for most of my work, but looking at these and in some cases actually seeing them more fleshed out like this may be helpful. There's the High Priestess again. just in imagining more some of those abstract shapes. Here's the Empress. Much more human looking, much more earthly looking. Again, some of the symbols are left out there, but a good many of them are included. Here's the Hierophant. Again, that's going to help me in picturing that card when I encounter it again in the Thoth. Here's the Lovers in the Millennium Thoth Tarot. Here's the original. So we lose the children. We lose a little bit of that abstract symbolism, but we gain more of a picture that we can kind of grasp and perceive. So that's, some people I think are going to really take to that, and that's even helpful for me. The Chariot here. This is the adjustment card, and it's more clear in this version that these scales are hanging from her crown, so certain things are more easily grasped in this version. Here's the Hermit. And you can just make out that alchemical egg wrapped in the serpent up here. Let's compare this one. So here we get this kind of stylized, it's almost hard to see that it's a head, but it's the image of the god Thoth, and you can just see the hand here, and this is much more physical, much more easily grasped again. So you lose some of the understanding that's gained in a different way, while it's more apprehended by the senses and perception in a way. So just a different approach. And again, to me, that's going to be helpful, combining the two in the imagination. The Wheel of Fortune. Here is the Lust card, which is Strength. And again, a lot of that symbolism is left out, but you get the general idea and more of a physical picture in the Millennium Thoth Tarot. Let's look at the backs here. The Rosicrucian cross on the original Thoth, and here's the backs of the Millennium. The Hanged Man here. And let's compare the Death card if I can find it. Here it is. So here's the original Death card, and it's got this Egyptian feeling, dancing at the bottom of the sea. I saw one guy online said this was his absolutely favorite Death card of all the decks, and that he was disappointed in this depiction, which he said looked like a heavy metal album cover, but again, it's more recognizable as that traditional Grim Reaper there. And this has more exotic allusions and symbols to work with. And so I think they both offer a different helpful perspective. Again, one's almost from the top of the tree of life, and the other more manifest near the bottom. Here's the art card, which is Temperance. And the other decks, again, losing the symbolism, but gaining the physicality. The Devil card was stuck there to it, and so the ram is traded for a more human figure here. So there's the comparison in those cards. Here's the Tower. I think this will help show what I mean by the cards kind of helping define each other. So to me, the Tower card in the original is hard to grasp. It's hard to see the tower, which is much more clear here in this version. The eye is more physical, almost like that evil eye of Sauron from the Lord of the Rings movies. And the mouth, pictured here, is like the mouth of a beast, just breathing fire. And here you have a similar effect. It's just harder to grasp or perceive for me. So having seen this card, I'm going to grasp this card. Next time I see this card, I'm going to grasp it a little bit more easily. When I see this card, I'm going to have much more to work with in terms of symbolism and all the things that Crowley worked in here. So these will work well together. Again, here's the star, the sun, the Aeon card. So here's Nut or Nut bending over the environment in this card, and here she is pictured as a disembodied face in the darkness here. So again, a lot is lost, but you have a more immediate apprehension of images in the Millennium Thoth Tarot. And here is the world. So again, you have the general effect, but you lose these spirals around her head and a few other details in that world card. Let me flip through a few more of the minors, just so you have an idea before I close. This is the Two of Cups pictured on one side of the box. So it retains the effect of being a pip deck. But again, the scenes are somewhat more earthy and physical in this deck. And I won't, this is not a full flip through, but let me, here's the Two of Pentacles. an important card. And we'll look at it. Here's an example, the Six of Wands. Very similar to the original Thoth in those minor arcana. Well, let me stop there. That's the unboxing of the Millennium Thoth Tarot. Thanks for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and comment, and so on, so that the algorithm works up and this gets out to interested people. As always, I hope you feel connection with people in your life, with online community, and on your spiritual path, whatever that may be. Take care.